What are the greatest LGBTQ movies ever made? From unforgettable love stories and powerful coming-of-age films to documentaries, heartbreak, survival, identity, and queer history. These movies have helped shape LGBTQ cinema over the years. In Part 1, we're counting down 80 incredible LGBTQ plus movies you need to watch. And remember, this is only the beginning, so make sure you subscribe to PridePlay, because Part 2 is coming next with even more must-watch LGBTQ films. Number 1. Scream, Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street.
It wasn't subtext, it was right there.
This movie is the gayest thing, and we did Xanadu last month.
We begin with a documentary that turns horror movie history into something deeply personal. Scream, Queen follows Mark Patton, the star of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, a film long discussed for its strong gay subtext. But for Patton, that conversation was not just fun horror trivia. It affected his career, his identity, and his life as a closeted gay actor during a dangerous time. The documentary lets him reclaim the story, confront the blame placed on him, and turn a cult horror legacy into a powerful statement about survival. Number 2. Welcome to Chechnya.
About the alleged abduction and torture of gay men in the Republic.
Это ерунда. У нас таких людей нету.
Welcome to Chechnya is one of the most urgent documentaries on this list. It follows activists helping LGBTQ people escape violent persecution in Chechnya. The film feels dangerous because the danger is real. People are hiding, fleeing, changing identities, and leaving everything behind just to stay alive. What makes it so powerful is that it shows activism not as a slogan, but as a life or death mission. This is not an easy film, but it is essential because it reminds us that queer survival is still a real fight in many parts of the world. Number 3. Mucho Mucho Amor, The Legend of Walter Mercado.
Sometimes he looks like a man. He was like one of the biggest characters, yeah. Not just with Spanish TV, anywhere.
But all of a sudden, he disappeared.
This documentary celebrates Walter Mercado, the glamorous Puerto Rican astrologer who became a beloved television icon. Walter was theatrical, gentle, spiritual, and completely unforgettable. His capes, voice, and warmth made him a comforting figure for millions. The film looks at his fame, his disappearance from public life, and the legacy he left behind. It never forces Walter into one simple label. Instead, it honors his softness, gender expression, and magic. By the end, it feels like a tribute to someone who created his own universe of glitter, love, and mystery. Number 4. My Name is Polly Murray.
Polly would say,
trans and gender non-binary people have always been a part of our American context. So did y'all just think that your generation invented it?
My Name is Polly Murray tells the story of a brilliant lawyer, activist, poet, priest, and legal thinker whose influence helped shape civil rights and gender equality in America. The documentary shows Polly Murray as someone far ahead of their time, challenging racism, sexism, and gender expectations long before society had the language to fully understand them. It also explores Murray's personal writings and gender identity, giving us a portrait of someone who fought systems that tried to erase people like them. This film restores Polly Murray to the history they helped build. Number 5. A Secret Love.
I think love is love, and that's the most important thing.
What she means to me. She means everything.
A Secret Love is a quiet but deeply emotional documentary about Terry Donahue and Pat Henschel, two women who loved each other for more than 60 years. For decades, they built a life together while hiding the full truth of their relationship from much of the world. The film captures them in old age, as illness, family, and time force long-buried truths into the open. It is not a loud romance. It is a story of loyalty, sacrifice, and endurance. Their love was hidden, but never small. Number 6. We Were Here.
A bunch of young men and said, have as much sex as you can have. How much sex would they have? A lot of sex.
We Were Here takes us back to San Francisco during the early years of the AIDS crisis. Through personal testimony, the documentary shows what happened when a vibrant queer community was suddenly hit by fear, illness, grief, and silence from the outside world. People became caregivers overnight. Friends watched friends disappear. But the film is not only about death. It is also about courage, chosen family, and the extraordinary ways people showed up for each other when institutions failed them. It is a heartbreaking but beautiful document of love under crisis. Number 7. Mädchen in Uniform.
Ja, alles anzünden! Sie ist da! Sie hat mich lieb! Ich fürchte mich vor nichts!
Mädchen in Uniform is one of the earliest major LGBTQ films ever made. The story follows Manuela, a young girl sent to a strict boarding school where she develops deep feelings for her teacher, Fräulein von Bernberg. For a film from 1931, its emotional honesty is remarkable. It treats Manuela's longing with tenderness instead of mockery. The school becomes a symbol of repression, while her affection becomes an act of emotional rebellion. Watching it today, the film reminds us that queer stories have always existed, even when society tried to silence them. Number 8. BPM.
Ça va pas dire des trucs comme ça?
Je risque pas de choper votre connerie de sida, hein, en attendant.
BPM, also known as Beats Per Minute, is one of the most powerful films about AIDS activism. Set in 1990s Paris, it follows members of ACT UP as they fight government silence, medical delays, and public ignorance while people around them are dying. The film moves through meetings, protests, arguments, parties, hospital rooms, and moments of love. At the center is the relationship between Nathan and Sean, which gives the story its emotional pulse. BPM shows activism as messy, urgent, angry, tender, and absolutely necessary. Number 9. Will and Harper.
Do you recognize this guy? This is a Hollywood movie star.
No.
You don't recognize him? Okay.
That's okay. Roll up the window.
Will and Harper is a documentary about friendship, transition, and learning how to support someone you love. It follows Will Ferrell and Harper Steele as they travel across America after Harper comes out as a trans woman. The road trip gives them space for funny, awkward, honest, and emotional conversations. Will is learning, Harper is facing the world with new vulnerability, and their friendship becomes the center of the film. What makes it touching is that support is shown as an active choice, listening, asking, changing, and standing beside someone. Number 10. Kokomo City.
That's where either you get out of it or you end up dead, you end up hot.
This is survival work. This is risky work.
Kokomo City is bold, funny, raw, and alive. This documentary centers Black transgender sex workers, giving them space to speak honestly about desire, money, danger, men, race, transphobia, and survival. The film refuses to turn them into symbols of victimhood. Instead, they are witty, angry, vulnerable, sharp, and fully human. Shot in striking black and white, the documentary has a fierce energy, but the real power is in the voices. It demands attention because it lets people who are often spoken about finally speak for themselves. Number 11. Moonlight.
What you looking at me like that for? What, man? Come on, you just drove down here? Yeah.
Moonlight is one of the most beautiful coming-of-age films ever made. It follows Chiron through childhood, adolescence, and adulthood as he grows up in Miami, surrounded by poverty, bullying, addiction, and harsh ideas of masculinity. But inside that pain, there are moments of tenderness, especially his connection with Kevin. The film says so much through silence, glances, and small gestures. It is about sexuality, but also about identity, memory, masculinity, and the need to be loved without having to defend who you are. Number 12. Flee.
Min bror, han bliver tilbage. Vi flygtede med menneskesmuglerne. Det værste mennesker i mit liv.
Flee is an animated documentary about Amin, a refugee carrying a painful secret from his past. Through animation, he remembers childhood, escape, family separation, and the long journey towards safety. But the film is also about being gay while trying to survive displacement and fear. Amin has hidden so much that honesty itself becomes terrifying. The animation gives the story a dreamlike quality, but the emotions are real and heavy. Flee is powerful because it understands identity as layered refugee, son, survivor, partner, and gay man. Number 13. God's Own Country.
Yeah, of course you have. We're not running a charity for words for straight, like.
It's perfect for me.
God's Own Country begins with loneliness. Johnny is a young farmer in Yorkshire, trapped by hard labor, drinking, emotional repression, and casual sex. Then Girhi, a Romanian migrant worker, arrives on the farm, and slowly Johnny begins to change. Their connection starts rough and guarded, but becomes tender through work, silence, and care. The film feels physical, cold weather, mud, animals, and the harsh landscape shape the romance. It is not polished or easy. It is raw, intimate, and one of the most moving gay love stories of modern cinema. Number 14, Good One.
We are hiking all day.
Yeah,
So it's going to be a lot heavier after an hour or 7.
I'm fine.
Good One follows Sam, a teenage girl on a backpacking trip with her father and his friend. What begins as a quiet outdoor drama slowly becomes a sharp story about discomfort, boundaries, and the painful moment when young people see adults clearly. Sam's queerness is part of her inner life, but the film is not built around a big romance. It is about observation, trust, and disappointment. Small comments, silences, and gestures become heavy. By the end, it becomes a subtle coming-of-age story about understanding more than you wanted to know. Number 15, All About My Mother.
Mucho ser auténtica, señora. Y en estas cosas no hay que ser rácana. Porque una es más auténtica. Cuanto más se parece a lo que soy yo decidida.
All About My Mother is Pedro Almodovar at his most emotional. The story begins with Manuela, a grieving mother who travels to Barcelona after the death of her son. There, her life connects with actresses, nuns, sex workers, trans women, mothers, and chosen family. The film is full of melodrama, but also deep compassion. It sees people who have been judged or abandoned and gives them dignity. Queer and trans characters are not side details here. They are part of the film's heart. It is about grief, survival, and rebuilding each other. Number 16, Joyland.
बुद्धि है तो बाहर नहीं होती जा रही उन्हें भी बुद्धि लगेगी पोस्टर दे ਵਿੱਚ तेरी मोटी बुद्धि तो बाल की जगह बच्चे की मैं अपनी बुद्धि लावांगी चल लाइक कर दी नहीं लगनी
Joyland is a Pakistani drama about desire, repression, and family pressure. Haider, the youngest son in a patriarchal household, secretly takes a job as a backup dancer and becomes drawn to Biba, a trans performer with ambition and confidence. Their connection awakens something inside him, but it also creates pressure on everyone around him, especially his wife, Mumtaz. The film is powerful because nobody is simple. Everyone is trapped by gender, class, family, and desire. By the end, Joyland becomes devastating because it shows how control can destroy people slowly. Number 17, How to Survive a Plague.
My patients are going to fight this and you're goddamn welcome.
We need our government to save our lives. This isn't going to be cured for years and years and years. I'm going to die from this.
How to Survive a Plague is an essential documentary about AIDS activism. It focuses on ACT UP and TAG, groups that fought politicians, pharmaceutical companies, and medical institutions during the AIDS crisis. The archival footage is electric: protests, meetings, arguments, grief, strategy, and rage. These activists were not waiting politely for compassion. They demanded treatment, research, and survival. The film shows that progress did not arrive naturally. It was forced into existence by people who were sick, scared, brilliant, furious, and unwilling to disappear. Number 18, Thelma.
Why are we stopping at malls?
To get a gun.
Do you even know how to use it?
How hard can it be? Idiots use them all the time.
God.
Thelma is lighter than many films on this list, but it brings warmth, humor, and queer inclusive storytelling into a sharp comedy about aging and independence. The story follows an elderly woman who gets scammed and decides to take matters into her own hands. What could have been a simple joke becomes a story about dignity, friendship, and agency. Its LGBTQ connection comes through its supporting world and representation, but the real charm is its refusal to treat older people as helpless. It is funny, clever, and full of heart. Number 19, Paris is Burning.
We come out to assassinate.
I am Pepper LaBeija, the legendary mother of the House of LaBeija, and I've been around for 2 decades, reigning.
Paris is Burning is one of the most influential LGBTQ documentaries ever made. It takes us into New York's 1980s ballroom scene, focusing on drag balls, houses, voguing, fashion, competition, chosen family, and survival. The film introduces unforgettable figures from Black and Latino queer and trans communities who built beauty and status in a world that denied them both. It has also been debated for questions around authorship and exploitation, but its cultural impact is undeniable. So much of modern drag and ballroom visibility connects back to the world captured here. Number 20, Disclosure.
This person who existed made people physically ill was the way in which my favorite movie as a child ended.
There are lots of ugly things about our history, but I think we have to know them.
Disclosure examines how transgender people have been represented in film and television, and how those portrayals shaped real lives. Trans actors, writers, and creators discuss decades of stereotypes, jokes, villains, tragedy, and rare moments of visibility. The documentary makes one thing clear: representation is never just entertainment. When media repeatedly shows trans people as punchlines or threats, that affects how real people are treated. But the film also celebrates trans artists who pushed back and demanded to tell their own stories. For LGBTQ cinema, it is essential viewing. Number 21, Circus of Books.
If anyone asked us what our parents did,
these are called cock rings.
The official answer was,
we own a bookstore.
Circus of Books tells the surprising story of Karen and Barry Mason, a straight Jewish couple who ran one of the most important gay adult bookstores in Los Angeles. Their store became a major space for gay culture, community, information, cruising, and freedom. Directed by their daughter, the documentary has a personal tension because the family business and family values did not always align perfectly. It captures a piece of queer history that could easily disappear, physical spaces where gay men found connection before the internet changed everything. Number 22, Call Me Cuckoo.
It's my civilization from the West.
He told him that, friend, if I am with you, then I feel as if you're supposed to be my wife.
Call Me Cuckoo is a courageous documentary set in Uganda, following David Kato and other LGBTQ activists fighting against extreme anti-gay hatred and legislation. Cuckoo is a term used by LGBTQ Ugandans for themselves, and the film shows what visibility can cost when society turns dangerous. David Kato is brave, determined, and painfully aware of the risks. The documentary exposes how politicians, media, religious rhetoric, and public fear can work together to target queer people. It is a difficult film, but also a vital record of resistance. Number 23, Everybody.
The doctor changed the course of my life. I did not consent to that surgery.
I had to tell the world what had happened.
Everybody is a documentary about intersex people, bodily autonomy, and the harm caused by medical secrecy. It follows intersex individuals speaking honestly about childhood treatments, shame, unnecessary surgeries, and the long path towards self-understanding. The film challenges the idea that bodies must fit neatly into binary categories to be valid. But it is not only about trauma, it is also about activism, pride, and naming yourself. It expands the LGBTQ conversation by reminding viewers that sex, gender, and identity are more complex than society often admits. Number 24, The Half of It.
You can live in an ocean of her thoughts, and she really knows.
I'm so stupid.
I just meant...
You like Aster?
The Half of It is a tender coming-of-age story about love, friendship, and quiet longing. Ellie Chu is smart, lonely, and paid to write essays for classmates. Then Paul asks her to help him write love letters to Aster, the girl he likes. The problem is, Ellie has feelings for Aster too. The film is beautiful because it does not turn the story into a simple love triangle. Ellie and Paul's friendship matters just as much as the romance. It understands that first love can be incomplete and still meaningful. Number 25, Girl Picture.
Sä kiinnostat mua enemmän kuin mikään muu täällä.
Girl Picture follows 3 young women over a few Fridays as they explore love, sex, ambition, and identity. Mimi meets Emma, a disciplined figure skater, and their romance begins with excitement before becoming complicated by insecurity and pressure. Meanwhile, Runka searches for connection and keeps feeling disappointed. The film captures teenage emotion without mocking it. Everything feels urgent because that is how youth feels. The queer romance is handled with softness and realism as part of a larger story about young women trying to understand themselves and each other. Number 26. Appropriate behavior.
Did you see that guy with the waxed Dali mustache? I hate so many things too.
Appropriate behavior follows Shirin, a bisexual Persian-American woman trying to survive a breakup while hiding parts of herself from her family. She is funny, messy, sarcastic, insecure, and emotionally lost. The film moves between the past and present, showing how her relationship with Maxine began and fell apart. What makes it refreshing is that Shirin is allowed to be flawed. She is not a perfect symbol. She is human. The film understands bisexual invisibility, family pressure, queer spaces, and the awkward process of becoming honest enough to move forward. Number 27. A Nice Indian Boy.
Parents. Theirs was the first home where I felt like I belonged. Wow. Yeah.
A Nice Indian Boy is a warm, romantic comedy about love, family, and cultural expectation. Naveen is an Indian-American doctor whose family knows he is gay, but acceptance is still complicated. Then he meets Jay, and their relationship becomes serious enough to bring home. The film is not just about coming out. It is about what happens after, whether family can celebrate queer love with the same joy they would offer a straight child. With humor and heart, it becomes a story about wanting to be loved completely. Number 28. Booksmart.
Oh, sorry. Sharp elbows, not as sharp as your chin. What?
Booksmart is a fast, funny teen comedy with a sweet queer story inside it. Amy and Molly spent high school being responsible, but right before graduation, they realized they missed out on having fun, so they decide to have one wild night. Amy is openly gay but still awkward and nervous about romance, especially around her crush, Ryan. What makes the film refreshing is that Amy's queerness is not a tragedy. She gets to be funny, messy, inexperienced, and fully teenage, just like everyone else. Number 29. Pain and Glory.
32 años me ha costado reconciliarme con esta película.
Si no escribes ni ruedas, ¿qué vas a hacer?
Vivir, supongo.
Pain and Glory follows Salvador Malo, an aging filmmaker looking back at his life, body, art, and regrets. As his present becomes smaller, his memories become stronger. Childhood, his mother, early desire, and past love. One of the most moving moments comes when he reconnects with an old male lover. Their meeting is quiet, mature, and full of things left unresolved. The film is about aging, creativity, pain, and returning to yourself. Its queer elements are woven deeply into art and memory. Number 30. All of Us Strangers.
I'm assuming you're not with anyone. Never see you with anyone.
All of Us Strangers is a ghost story, romance, and grief drama in one. Adam lives alone in London until he meets Harry, a neighbor who draws him into intimacy. But Adam is also pulled back to his childhood home, where his dead parents appear unchanged. He speaks to them as an adult, telling them about his life, his sexuality, and his loneliness. The film understands queer grief in a devastating way. It is about love, memory, and the child inside you still waiting to be accepted. Number 31. Parallel Mothers.
Me encanta la idea de tener un hijo contigo, Yanis, pero no sé si puedo permitírmelo ahora.
No es cuestión de si podemos permitírnoslo. Es cuestión de que ya está aquí.
Parallel Mothers begins with two women meeting in a hospital room while preparing to give birth. Janice is older and more confident, while Anna is younger and scared. Their brief connection grows into something much more complicated as secrets. Motherhood, desire, and history tie their lives together. The queer element appears through emotional intimacy and unexpected attraction, but the film is also about memory and truth. Personal secrets mirror buried political trauma, making the story feel bigger than one relationship. It is about the truths we hide and the truths that eventually demand to be seen. Number 32. The Handmaiden.
타맣고 불쌍한 조선인 하녀라고 생각하겠지. 모두가 빌어먹게도 제 역할을 잘하고 있어.
The Handmaiden is a stylish and twisted queer thriller set in Japanese-occupied Korea. Suk-hee, a young pickpocket, becomes a maid to Lady Hideko as part of a con to steal her fortune. But what begins as manipulation slowly becomes desire. The film shifts perspective again and again, revealing hidden motives, betrayals, and secrets. What makes it unforgettable is that the romance becomes an act of rebellion. Two women who were supposed to be controlled by men turn the entire game around and find a way to escape. Number 33, Shiva Baby.
Do you think she has an eating disorder?
I was your major again.
Sweetheart, feminism isn't exactly what I call a career.
It's not my career, it's a lens.
Shiva Baby is anxiety turned into cinema. Danielle attends a Jewish funeral gathering with her parents, already stressed by family pressure. Then her sugar daddy appears. Then his wife appears. Then her ex-girlfriend Maya is there too. Suddenly, every version of Danielle is trapped in one room. Her bisexuality is part of the emotional chaos, but the film never stops to explain it. It lets her exist in all her contradictions. Funny, painful, and claustrophobic, Shiva Baby captures the terror of being young, broke, messy, and watched. Number 34, Tangerine.
With him, thank God. Him to be cheating on you like that. Wait, what? You didn't know?
Tangerine follows Cindy, a transgender sex worker who gets out of jail on Christmas Eve and discovers her boyfriend has been cheating. Furious, she and her best friend, Alexandra, tear across Los Angeles looking for him. The film is loud, fast, funny, and full of street-level energy. Cindy and Alexandra are angry, hilarious, flawed, and loyal. Their friendship is the emotional center. Beneath the chaos, donut shops, booses, motel rooms, sex work, and survival, the film becomes tender because it is about two women who keep choosing each other. Number 35, Fancy Dance.
We ran your background check, and I had no choice but to place Roki with your father.
You can't do this.
Auntie,
Roki,
I'm going to Grandpa's.
Roki, it's all right. Just let me talk to her. Roki.
Fancy Dance follows Jax, a queer indigenous woman caring for her niece Roki after the disappearance of Jax's sister. Jax is trying to hold their family together while the system around them fails to protect them. The bond between Jax and Roki is fierce and loving, even under pressure. Jax's queerness is woven naturally into her life. She is an aunt, protector, survivor, and woman fighting grief. The film connects personal pain to the larger crisis of missing indigenous women, making it a story about love as resistance. Number 36, Blue Jean.
What's wrong? You look stressed.
I don't want my students on every part of my life.
Every part of your life?
If anyone found out, I'd never work again.
Blue Jean takes us to England in 1988. During a time of political hostility toward gay and lesbian people, Jean is a gym teacher living a double life. At work, she hides her sexuality to protect her career. At night, she enters queer spaces where she can breathe. But when a student appears at the same lesbian bar, Jean's two worlds collide. The film understands fear without judging it too easily. It shows how politics enters classrooms, workplaces, relationships, and everyday survival. Number 37, The People's Joker.
Trans.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I was fairly certain I was in love, and I was so afraid of that feeling going away.
The People's Joker is chaotic, rebellious, surreal, and deeply personal. Using a superhero-inspired world, it tells a story about gender identity, comedy, trauma, and self-acceptance. The main character enters a strange world of clowns, performance, rejection, and transformation. It is parody, but also personal myth-making. The film feels like someone breaking apart the pop culture that shaped them and rebuilding it into a queer self-portrait. It is messy on purpose, and that mess becomes its power. By the end, it is about refusing to ask permission to exist. Number 38, The Celluloid Closet.
That kind of sexuality of ours, which overlaps. Some like it hard, some like it soft.
I've got to tell you, I can't keep it to myself.
The Celluloid Closet is essential for understanding LGBTQ film history. Based on Vito Russo's book, the documentary examines how Hollywood represented gay and lesbian characters across decades. For a long time, queer people appeared through coded gestures, villains, tragic figures, jokes, monsters, and subtext. The film shows the damage caused by those patterns, but also how queer audiences found themselves in hidden signs and forbidden glances. It gives viewers the language to understand why representation matters and why screen images shape real lives. Number 39, Gods and Monsters.
Architectural scholarly. Have you ever sat for an artist?
By time.
You were a soldier.
I was an officer in the trenches.
And by desire.
Gods and Monsters imagines the final days of James Whale, the real-life director of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. Older, retired, and haunted by memory, Whale becomes fascinated by Clayton, a young gardener. Their relationship is not a simple romance. It is full of desire, curiosity, manipulation, fear, and loneliness. The film connects Whale's queerness to the monsters he created, outsiders misunderstood by the world. Ian McKellen gives Whale elegance and sadness, turning the film into a meditation on aging, art, regret, and desire. Number 40, Tomboy.
Bonjour, on est arrivé hier. Moi, c'est Lisa. J'habite ici. Michael, je m'appelle Michael.
Tomboy is small, delicate, and deeply affecting. It follows a 10-year-old child named Lore who moves to a new neighborhood and begins presenting as a boy named Michael. At first, it feels like childhood freedom, new friends, new identity, new possibility. But the emotional stakes slowly grow. The film never over-explains. It watches gestures, clothes, nervousness, play, excitement, and fear. It captures the fragile moment when a child reaches toward truth before having the language to protect it. If you're enjoying this list, here's a quick word. If you enjoy PridePlay and want to support more LGBTQ movie content, you can become a channel member for just $1. Your small support helps us keep discovering, sharing, and celebrating powerful LGBTQ stories from around the world. Join the PridePlay membership today and be part of a community that supports queer cinema and the LGBTQ+ community. Now, back to the list. Number 41, Fitting In.
Disorder resulting in Lindy being born without a uterus, cervix, or vaginal canal.
But the vagina really is just an amazing muscle. You're just going to have to stretch it out.
Fitting In follows Lindy, a teenager whose understanding of her body changes after she is diagnosed with MRKHA syndrome. The diagnosis affects more than her health. It makes her question femininity, sex, desire, and what society expects from young women's bodies. The film's LGBTQ connection comes through its challenge to rigid ideas of gender, identity, and normality. Lindy is not turned into a sad symbol. She is funny, angry, awkward, curious, and alive. By the end, the movie becomes about reclaiming your body from other people's definitions. Number 42, Good Manners.
É menino forte, Ana.
Good Manners begins like a strange domestic drama and slowly becomes a queer fairy tale horror story. Clara, a lonely nurse in Sao Paulo, is hired by Anna, a mysterious pregnant woman. Their relationship grows tender, but Anna's pregnancy carries something dangerous and supernatural. The film blends lesbian romance, class tension, motherhood, fantasy, and horror. It asks what care looks like when love becomes frightening, and what family means when it is built outside normal boundaries. It is strange, dark, tender, and unforgettable. Number 43, Princess Sid.
Can I tell you a secret? I kind of want to have sex with Katie. What, is that weird? Not at all.
Princess Sid is a gentle coming-of-age story about a teenage girl discovering desire and emotional openness. Sid visits her Aunt Miranda in Chicago for the summer. Sid is physical and hungry for life, while Miranda is thoughtful and controlled. During the visit, Sid meets a girl and begins exploring her attraction. But the film is also about conversations between Sid and Miranda, faith, grief, bodies, pleasure, and what kind of life matters. It is warm, quiet, and kind, allowing queer discovery without turning it into tragedy. Number 44, My Beautiful Laundrette.
My friends, bring us in. I will.
My Beautiful Laundrette is political, romantic, and full of tension. Omar, a young British-Pakistani man in London, gets the chance to manage a rundown laundromat. Then he reconnects with Johnny, an old friend and former racist street punk. Their secret romance unfolds alongside racism, capitalism, immigrant identity, family pressure, and ambition. The relationship is complicated by history and power, but it has heat and tenderness. The film remains important because it brought queer desire, race, class, and Thatcher-era Britain into the same frame. Number 45, Call Me By Your Name.
What do you do around here?
Read books, transcribe music,
swim at the river, go out at night.
Sounds fun. All right, later.
Call Me by Your Name is a summer romance that feels like memory. In northern Italy, 17-year-old Elio meets Oliver, an older graduate student staying with his family. Irritation slowly becomes fascination, and fascination becomes desire. The film lingers on sunlight, music, books, fruit, bike rides, silence, and glances. What makes it emotional is that Elio knows summer will end, but for a brief time, he and Oliver belong to each other. It is about first love, heartbreak, and the beauty of having felt something deeply. Number 46, Pariah.
Shine out through me. My spirit takes journey, my spirit takes flight, and I am not running. I am choosing.
Pariah follows Alik, a black teenage girl in Brooklyn trying to understand herself while living under family pressure. She knows she is lesbian, but does not feel safe fully living that truth at home. Around friends, she experiments with clothes and confidence. At home, she hides. The film captures the split life many queer young people know too well. Her parents love her, but do not fully see her. By the end, Pariah becomes a story of self-definition, showing a young woman gaining her voice even through pain. Number 47, Heavenly Creatures.
Your daughter appears to have formed a rather unwholesome attachment to Juliet.
Heavenly Creatures is dark, obsessive, and disturbing. Based on a real case, it follows Pauline and Juliet, two teenage girls in New Zealand whose intense bond becomes a private universe of fantasy, stories, and secrets. But as their families grow concerned, their attachment turns dangerous. The queer reading comes through the emotional and romantic intensity between them, but the film is not a simple love story. It is about repression, obsession, fantasy, and violence. Peter Jackson turns their imagination into something beautiful and terrifying. Number 48, Weekend.
I thought you were out of my league or whatever. And yeah, we came back here, didn't we? And then you kissed me. You said you took my shirt off.
Weekend is one of the most intimate gay romances ever made. Russell meets Glenn after a night out, and what could have been a casual hookup becomes something deeper over one weekend. They talk, drink, argue, record conversations, have sex, and reveal their fears. There is no huge plot. The power is in the conversation. Russell is cautious. Glenn is political and guarded in a different way. Together, they change each other. The heartbreak comes not from tragedy, but from timing. Number 49, The Crying Game.
You won't run. But if I did, you wouldn't shoot a brother in the back. Johnny!
The Crying Game is a political thriller and complicated LGBTQ landmark. Fergus, an IRA member, forms a bond with Jody, a kidnapped British soldier. Later, he seeks out Dill, Jody's lover, and becomes drawn into a relationship built on guilt, attraction, secrecy, and identity. The film is famous for its twist, but the larger story is about desire and the truths people are forced to confront. Its trans representation remains debated, but its place in queer cinema history is undeniable. Number 50, Being 17.
Parce qu'on s'aime pas, c'est tout.
Il paraît que tu t'es pas défendu.
Being 17 is a French coming-of-age drama about two boys whose hostility hides desire. Damien and Thomas fight constantly at school, but their anger is tangled with attraction, confusion, and fear. When Thomas moves into Damien's home because of family circumstances, they are forced to share space while their tension grows. The film captures adolescence as raw and unstable. Desire arrives through shame, curiosity, anger, and vulnerability. By the end, it becomes a tender story about the thin line between fighting someone and needing them. Number 51, Passages.
You cannot change someone like him. What they think, what they want to do.
I think I'm falling in love with you. Say that to nothing.
Passages is messy, sharp, and brutally honest. Tomas, a filmmaker married to Martin, begins an affair with Agathe, a woman he meets after a shoot. What follows is not a simple love triangle, but a portrait of selfishness, attraction, and emotional damage. Tomas wants freedom, passion, attention, and control, but refuses to face the pain he causes. Martin becomes the emotional center, carrying the cost of Tomas's recklessness. The film refuses to make queer relationships saintly. These people are flawed, cruel, needy, and human. Number 52, Dog Day Afternoon.
Hostages. We make the demands. We get a helicopter here. It lands on the roof and takes us to a jet.
Dog Day Afternoon turns a failed bank robbery into a tense and emotional character study. Sonny tries to rob a Brooklyn bank, but the plan collapses fast. Police arrive, hostages are trapped, and the robbery becomes a spectacle. Then we learn Sonny needs the money for his partner Leon's gender-affirming surgery. The film reflects the language and limits of its time, but it plays queer and trans-related themes inside a major Hollywood crime drama. It is about desperation, love, pressure, and public spectacle. Number 53, The Power of the Dog.
It's just a man, Peter. Only another man.
The Power of the Dog is a slow-burning Western about masculinity, repression, and hidden desire. Phil Burbank is cruel, powerful, and obsessed with toughness, but beneath that brutality is a buried vulnerability connected to his memories of Bronco Henry. The film works through silence, suggestion, and atmosphere. Phil's denied desire becomes part of his violence and control. Peter, quiet and observant, changes the balance of power. By the end, the movie feels icy and devastating, showing how repression can curdle into cruelty. Number 54, Carol.
She's still my wife. I love her.
I can't help you with that.
Carol is one of the most elegant lesbian romances ever made. In 1950s New York, Therese, a young shop worker and aspiring photographer, meets Carol, an older woman trapped in a failing marriage. Their attraction grows through glances, lunches, car rides, and silence. But Carol's husband uses her sexuality against her in a custody battle, making love dangerous. The film's beauty is in its restraint. Every touch feels forbidden. Unlike many older lesbian stories, Carol treats society, not queer love, as the destructive force. Number 55, Love Lies Bleeding.
Huh? You don't understand. Get back in the car.
Love Lies Bleeding is sweaty, violent, obsessive, and pulpy. Lou, a gym manager tied to crime and family damage, meets Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder headed toward competition. Their attraction is immediate and physical, but love here comes with steroids, guns, rage, blood, and secrets. The film gives queer women the kind of dangerous crime thriller space, usually reserved for straight antiheroes. Lou and Jackie are damaged people trying to escape their lives. Their romance is messy, intense, and explosive, which is exactly what makes it unforgettable. Number 56, A Fantastic Woman.
Se murió.
Se murió.
Son pareja. Sí, somos pareja.
A Fantastic Woman follows Marina, a transgender singer whose life is shattered when her older boyfriend suddenly dies. Instead of being allowed to grieve, she is treated with suspicion by his family, doctors, and police. People question her body, identity, and right to mourn. Daniela Vega's performance is quiet and powerful. Marina does not beg for dignity. She holds onto it while others try to strip it away. The film centers a trans woman's grief and turns it into a story of strength, pain, and survival. Number 57, Fire Island.
Call it magic? Time sort of works differently here.
Finally, my girls have arrived!
Fire Island is bright, funny, romantic, and unapologetically queer. Inspired by Jane Austen, it follows a group of gay friends spending a week at Fire Island Pines. Noah wants to help his best friend Howie find romance, but the trip becomes about class, race, body image, friendship, and hierarchy inside queer spaces. The island looks like freedom, but it has its own rules of beauty and status. What makes the film special is its chosen family warmth and the joy of giving gay characters a full ensemble rom-com. Number 58, Stranger by the Lake. Stranger by the Lake is erotic, tense, and unsettling. Set almost entirely at a lakeside cruising spot, the film follows Frank, who becomes drawn to Michelle, a handsome man with dangerous energy. After Frank sees something that should make him run, desire pulls him closer instead. The film turns attraction into suspense. Its simplicity makes it intense. The same lake, trees, paths, and bodies become charged with threat. It refuses to sanitize desire, showing cruising as erotic, social, and dangerous all at once. Number 59. Behind the Candelabra.
It's about doing some surgery on Scott. I want you to make Scott look like this. Oh, I see.
Behind the Candelabra tells the story of Liberace and his relationship with the much younger Scott Thorson. Scott enters a world of glamour, money, performance, and control. Liberace seduces him, but also begins reshaping him emotionally and physically into an object of fantasy. Their relationship becomes unstable, full of jealousy, dependence, surgery, and manipulation. Michael Douglas and Matt Damon bring charm and sadness to a story about fame, secrecy, and possession. The film shows the contrast between public spectacle and private loneliness. Number 60. The Duke of Burgundy.
This is all I ever dreamed about.
The Duke of Burgundy is sensual, strange, and emotionally sharp. Cynthia and Evelyn's relationship is built around ritualized dominance and submission. At first, Cynthia seems to have the power, but the film slowly reveals that Evelyn scripts and desires much of the dynamic, while Cynthia becomes exhausted by performing it. The film is less about kink as shock and more about relationship labor. What happens when one person's fantasy becomes another person's obligation? Dreamlike and controlled, it becomes a sad story about love and mismatch. Number 61. The Normal Heart.
I've never seen or heard of anything like this. This seems to only be happening to gay men.
We have to do something. No one else will.
The Normal Heart takes us into 1980s New York at the start of the AIDS crisis. Ned Weeks watches gay men get sick while the government, media, and medical institutions respond too slowly. His anger makes him difficult, but also necessary. The film also follows his relationship with Felix, a journalist whose love story becomes inseparable from fear and illness. What makes the film powerful is its rage. It refuses to treat AIDS history as distant. People were dying while leaders delayed, and this film makes that grief feel immediate. Number 62. The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
The fish that runs this bloody hotel in the middle of nowhere anyway. Your mother?
No, my wife. I'm married.
Sorry.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, follows two drag queens and a transgender woman traveling across Australia in a bus named Priscilla. The film is full of outrageous costumes, performances, and humor, but underneath the glitter is real tenderness. Tick wants to reconnect with his son. Adam hides vulnerability behind attitude. Bernadette carries elegance and pain. The desert becomes both stage and test. The film celebrates chosen family, resilience, and the ability to create beauty in places that were never built for you. Number 63. Housekeeping for Beginners. Housekeeping for Beginners is about family that does not fit traditional definitions. It centers on a chaotic household of queer people, children, partners, and outsiders trying to survive together. At the center is Dita, who never planned to become a mother figure, but is forced into responsibility. The film understands that chosen family is not always soft or easy. Sometimes it is paperwork, arguments, sacrifice, and showing up anyway. It is messy, emotional, imperfect, and alive. A portrait of family built through care rather than biology. Number 64. The Wedding Banquet.
Thank you, we, Tom.
Oui, oui.
In sickness and in health till death do us part.
Till sickness and death.
The Wedding Banquet turns a fake marriage plot into a moving comedy about family pressure. Wai Tung, a gay Taiwanese man living in New York with his boyfriend Simon, agrees to marry Wei Wei so he can satisfy his parents and help her get a green card. But when his parents arrive and demand a huge traditional wedding, the lie explodes. The comedy comes from pretending, but the emotion comes from fear, the fear that parental love has limits. By the end, it becomes surprisingly tender. Number 65. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It does not look good.
Everything Everywhere All at Once looks like a wild multiverse adventure, but its emotional core is a mother and daughter trying to understand each other. Evelyn is exhausted by life, marriage, work, and family pressure. Joy feels unseen, especially when her mother struggles to fully accept her girlfriend and identity. Across infinite universes, the film keeps returning to one question: can love survive misunderstanding? Beneath the action, comedy, and absurdity, it is about choosing connection. Evelyn chooses her daughter, and that choice matters. Number 66. Milk.
It's like you're part of the machine now.
Society can't exist without the family.
We're not against that.
Can two men reproduce?
No, but God knows we keep trying.
Milk tells the story of Harvey Milk, one of America's most important gay political figures. The film follows his move to San Francisco, his connection to the Castro community, and his repeated attempts to win office. His campaign becomes bigger than one man. It becomes a community demanding representation. The film captures organizing, marching, fear, hope, and visibility. It also carries tragedy because we know where history is heading. Milk is about courage, political power, and telling people they deserve a future. Number 67. Love is Strange.
Benjamin Arthur Hull.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Your love, your dedication, your commitment to each other are an example to be followed.
Love is Strange is a quiet film about long-term love under pressure. Ben and George have been together for decades, and after they finally marry, George loses his job at a Catholic school. They can no longer afford their apartment and are forced to live separately with friends and family. Their drama is ordinary, which makes it painful. Housing, money, employment, and separation. Their love is not fiery or new. It is lived in, full of habits, patience, irritation, and history. That makes it deeply moving. Number 68. Pride.
Lesbians and gay support the minors.
I'm hoping you can clear something up for me about lesbians. It did surprise me.
Let them get settled in first, shall we?
Pride is one of the most uplifting LGBTQ films on this list. Based on a true story, it follows gay and lesbian activists in 1980s London who raise money for striking minors. At first, the alliance seems unlikely, but both groups are being attacked by the same government and press. The film shows solidarity as action, not just a slogan. People show up for each other, even before they fully understand each other. Funny, emotional, and full of warmth, Pride becomes a celebration of community across difference. Number 69. The Kids Are All Right.
Emergency. My tongue was numb, and I told her to relax, and then my tongue started working again.
Oh my God. The Kids Are All Right centers on Nick and Jules, a lesbian couple raising two teenagers. Their family is loving but imperfect, and when their children contact their biological sperm donor, Paul, everything becomes complicated. Paul's arrival unsettles the marriage, reveals old cracks, and forces everyone to confront uncomfortable truths. The film matters because it places a lesbian couple at the center of a mainstream family drama without idealizing them. Their relationship is strained, loving, frustrating, and real. It is not about a perfect family. It is about a human one. Number 70. Femme.
Yeah, I'm giving you a type.
You want a big man to treat you like a little bitch? Maybe.
Femme is a tense queer thriller about trauma, revenge, and power. Jules, a drag performer, is brutally attacked after a show. Later, he recognizes one of his attackers, Preston, in a gay sauna. Preston does not recognize him out of drag, so Jules begins a dangerous sexual relationship with him. Part desire, part revenge, part need for control. The relationship becomes psychologically explosive. The film refuses easy healing. Survival here is messy, morally complicated, and painful. It is about reclaiming power when trauma has changed everything. Number 71. Farewell, My Queen.
Tout le monde à la cour connaît Gabrielle de Polignac.
On dit que la reine s'en est amourachée et que ses mœurs sont des plus libres.
Vous savez ce qui me fait le plus de peine, Monsieur Moreau? C'est toute cette malveillance autour de la reine.
Farewell, My Queen takes place during the final days of Marie Antoinette's world. Sidoni, the young reader devoted to the Queen, watches Versailles panic as the French Revolution closes in. Her devotion to Marie Antoinette feels emotional, intimate, and quietly obsessive, but the Queen's attention belongs elsewhere, especially to Gabrielle de Polignac. The film turns history into a story of longing and hierarchy. Sidney may love the queen, but she is still a servant. It becomes a story about desire for someone who may never truly see you. Number 72. In the Summers.
You're drunk.
Get in the car.
Stop.
In the Summers follows two sisters, Violeta and Eva, as they spend summers with their father in New Mexico across different stages of life. Each visit reveals another side of him: playful, loving, unstable, distant, harmful. The LGBTQ element becomes part of the girl's growth and self-understanding, but the film is mostly about memory, family, and damage. It understands that a parent can create beautiful memories and painful wounds in the same place. The film becomes a portrait of childhood, slowly turning into understanding. Number 73. The Way He Looks.
É verdade, né?
Quem é que vai querer me beijar?
Aqui é o 211?
É aqui sim. Como é que se chama?
Gabriel.
The Way He Looks is one of the sweetest gay coming-of-age romances. Leonardo, a blind teenager in Brazil, wants independence from the limits others place on him. Then Gabriel arrives at school, and their friendship grows into something tender. A walk, a touch, a bike ride, or a conversation becomes meaningful. The film treats Leonardo's blindness with care, making the story about autonomy as much as romance. Gentle, hopeful, and charming, it captures first love as something quiet, glowing, and life-changing. Number 74. Slow. Slow is a delicate romance about intimacy, desire, and difference. Elena is a dancer. Davidus is a sign language interpreter. They connect through warmth, conversation, and emotional honesty, but as the relationship deepens, Davidus reveals he is asexual. The film does not treat this as a problem to be fixed. Instead, it asks whether love can grow when physical needs do not match. There is no villain here, only two people trying to learn a new language of closeness. It is patient, mature, and beautiful. Number 75. Show Me Love.
Inte jag. Jag har i alla fall inte legat med någon. Nej, men då har hon den ungefär 70 000.
Show Me Love is a Swedish teen romance about boredom, cruelty, longing, and honesty. Agnes is lonely and in love with Ellen, a popular girl who seems confident but feels restless in their small town. When they connect, everything becomes awkward, exciting, and frightening. The film feels real because its teenagers are insecure, impulsive, dramatic, and sometimes cruel. Their romance is imperfect, but alive. It captures the thrill of being seen by someone you thought would never see you. Number 76. Dallas Buyers Club.
Drugs. Have you ever engaged in homosexual conduct?
Homo. You say homo? You made a mistake. That ain't me.
Mr. Woodruff, we estimate you have 30 days left.
Dallas Buyers Club is set during the AIDS crisis in 1980s Texas. Ron Woodruff is diagnosed with AIDS and given little time to live. At first, he is homophobic and reckless, but when the medical system fails him, he begins searching for alternative treatments and creates an underground network to distribute medication. The LGBTQ heart comes through the crisis itself and Rayon, a transgender woman who becomes his business partner. The film has been debated, but it remains a mainstream AIDS drama about desperation, prejudice, and survival. Number 77. Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
I must find my other half, but is it a he or a she? Can two people actually become one?
Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a rock musical, breakup story, gender odyssey, and cult classic. Hedwig, a German singer, tells her painful life story through music while chasing Tommy Gnosis, a former lover who stole her songs and fame. Her past includes betrayal, surgery, abandonment, and the search for wholeness. The film is loud, wounded, funny, glamorous, and emotional. It plays with gender, myth, performance, and identity. By the end, Hedwig's journey suggests that wholeness may not come from someone else. Number 78. Love, Simon.
We do everything friends do. We drink way too much iced coffee while gorging on carbs. So, I'm just like you, except I have one huge-ass secret.
Love, Simon gave a gay teen the glossy high school romantic comedy treatment straight characters had received for decades. Simon has friends, family, and a normal suburban life, but he is hiding that he is gay. When he begins emailing another closeted student, he finds someone who understands him. Then his secret is threatened, and coming out may no longer happen on his terms. The film's familiar teen movie structure is part of its importance. It says queer teens deserve warmth, romance, humor, and happy endings too. Number 79, Swan Song.
Rita specified that you do her hair and makeup for the funeral. The will makes a provision for services rendered.
Swan Song follows Pat Pitzenbarger, a retired gay hairdresser living in a nursing home. When a former client dies and requests him for her funeral hair, Pat escapes and walks through town, revisiting people and places from his past. He was once stylish, sharp, and important in his social world, but now feels forgotten. The film gives dignity to an older queer character carrying love, betrayal, grief, and glamour. It is both farewell and reclamation, giving Pat one last chance to move through the world as himself. Number 80, The Watermelon Woman.
Now that we know that we're attracted to each other, what do we do? Don't you think we should kiss?
The Watermelon Woman is a landmark of Black lesbian cinema. Cheryl, a young Black lesbian filmmaker, tries to make a documentary about a forgotten Black actress from the 1930s credited only as The Watermelon Woman. Her search becomes a statement about a rasher who gets remembered, named, and preserved. At the same time, Cheryl navigates her own friendships and romantic life. The film blends fiction, mock documentary, comedy, and critique. It is not waiting for permission from mainstream cinema. It creates its own archive. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of our 80 LGBTQ+ movies you need to watch, but we're far from finished. There are still plenty of incredible movies left, and we'll be covering them in part 2. So subscribe to PridePlay and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And let me know in the comments which movie from part 1 is your favorite. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.